So I'm going to start this recording by saying I just created an alien with meet morp and OK. Should mean absolutely nothing. So how do I create this human? Right, let's do this. Human.create with a nickname. Great. And what's the human's nickname? Prince Sanchez? Rick Sanchez. All right. Wubba lubba dub dub. Very good. How old is Rick? 60 something. Cool. And then, oh wait, was it an integer? Oof. This is a powerful class. So when was Rick Sanchez last seen? All right, season 3. Very good. I like that. And is Rick missing? Definitely not. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. Which alien abducted old Ricky Rick? Great. Something I want to point out. Do we have alien number 2? Great. What if I tried number 2? What do you think happens? It commits. Because there are no validations. Our database will take any garbage data, you'll throw it. It's terrible. But notice how it commits right now, right? Very weird. Interesting. All right, cool. How can I test this relationship? Human dot human the first. Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah. And what is this? Right, the human object, right? Dot. Who thinks this will run? Great. Unidentified method. Well, that makes sense because I didn't make the associations. So where would I want to make that? In the controller? Ooh, smart. Cool. And what is the relationship between alien and human? Humans. Yeah? Has many human. Disgusting. Disgusting. And what's the relationship here? Belongs to Aryan, right? Cool. So, oh snap. Oh wait, no, that's fine. Alien ID? Yeah, that's fine. That's weird. You see this little blue dot here? It says I didn't save it. But I already migrated, and it has everything in there. Oh, that's right, because I wrote a bunch of junk here on the bottom. That's why. Okay. Do you remember that when I made fun of coffee? I said it becomes caves. Yeah, that's what that was. Anyways, bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's smoothly go back here. Let's exit out of here, and let's get back into the console because now the relationships exist. So I need to reload the code. There's also something like this, which will reload all of your code in your console in case you don't want to close out and go back in to your console. All right? Boom, I showed it to you. So let's check if I were to do something like 3. Why did it not work with Alien ID 3? I mean, we know there's no Alien 3, right? Why did it not work now, but it totally worked before? Now that you've had 4 seconds to think about it, I counted, it's because of the relationship. And that is the relationship between human and alien. It adds a validation for you under the hood, and it says, hey, you probably should attach this to something that like actually exists. Does that make sense? So it's important that you test everything and why things like this work. Cool? Awesome. So let's do that. Let's not get crazy. Let's do alien.create. Make another one. right? Meep, morp. God, that bit me in the butt. All right. I don't know, Denny's, right? They speak a weird language. Cool. Let's create another human and put ID 1 on here. Great. Who wants to be a humans? Great. Allie. Allie, you can give me a fake age if you want to. Great. 36. I was just going to put 0 if you didn't want to do anything. Last seen. Where were you last seen? Ooh. Ooh. Someone's got a lot of money. Starbucks is expensive. Are you missing? Oh, okay. Great. True. And which alien abducted you? Denny's or okay? Denny's. Definitely Denny's. 100%. Bam, you're in there. Anybody else? Or are we cool with this kind of data? You guys want to abduct Charlie? All right. I would say sorry, but this is hilarious. Charlie. Just kidding. All right, Charlie. Send it. What do we got? 26 is fair. Cool. When were you last seen? Just where? Okay. Mom's attic. That is safe. And are you missing, though? No. Obviously, right? Mom's attic. That's a safe place to be. So are we going with okay or are we going with Denny's? Keep it at Denny's. Denny's is just a dirtbag. Okay is just doing nothing over here. Great. So actually, we should test our relationships, right? Let's do that. Alien.first, right? Which is going to be alien with the ID of 1. Let's see what humans come up. Wow. Does this make sense? Cool. What about alien.second? What should I see? Boom. Look at that. Rick, Allie, and Charlie. This Denny's alien is dirtbag. Cool. All right. And then we can go the reversed, right? And we can check the human dot first dot. All right. You guys seen that meme before? Cool. Why alien and not aliens? Because of the belongs to relationship, right? Because of the exact method we created inside the model. Does that make sense? Is that clear in why it's singular here? Good enough for me. Great. So let's get back to the code. We have these migrations. We have the controller, right? And I said that I would show you how to create this association, right? So which one has the foreign key? It's the human, right? Human has a foreign key. So let's build out the human's controller. Let's not worry too much about the alien for now. And let's take a look. Ready? What are the restful routes? Okay, we can start with index. Cool. Dope. And how many are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. Bloop, bloop. What else is there? What other restful route is there? Cool. What else? New. You're getting better. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Update. And then finally, who thinks it's delete or destroy? Which one? All right. Very good, class. Be good. Delete only appears one place, and that is in the HTTP verb. Everything else is destroy. Cool. Cool. Great. So let's move on. Let's create this index and show super fast. How can I ever hit these controller actions? All right, do I have the routes? Right, I did resources, so I have those routes. Does everyone understand? This is very important. It's very important. I need you to raise your hand if you understand what resources builds for you, and only raise your hand if you can build them out manually. That's good enough for me. Great. So we're going to keep it at resources, right? But we're going to kind of get rid of resources for aliens, since at this point, we're just building out the humans. Cool? All right, let's do it. So in the humans controller, right, what do we need? We need to do something with the model, and then we need to send back a response. So what is needed from the model? All the humans, right? So humans equals to. All right. This right here, you can name anything I want. Just to prove it, I'm going to name this table. Cool? And what is the response? I'm going to render something, right? I can render all the humans. And what is this going to look for? All the humans.erb inside my views folder. But I don't want to do that, right? I just want to make sure you understand that you can point to anything you want. So let's do that. Inside my views, inside my humans, I have. Okay, cool. And how do I do this? Right? All the humans. Cool. And I know I can, yeah?
So what's the difference between having index.erb and index.html.erb?
What is the difference? The question is, what is index.html.erb versus index.erb? Right? That's the question. So I'm going to go into a 2-second tangent. This is important for you to know. How your computer will read this code is it will read the extension. It will read the extension. The extension is the last file extension. So dot blank, right? There's also dot exe, there's dot bat, there's dot pdf, there's dot docx, there's dot xl, right? You familiar with these? Really? You guys know what dot bat does? Smart, cool. So it will read the last extension. That being said, I can name my file anything I want. I can name it homepage.awesome.word.cool.pdf. And what do you think it will open with? Adobe Acrobat Reader. Does that make sense? Where this came from was the fact that other developers needed to tell other developers that, hey, it's an HTML file that I'm going to embed Ruby in. So I just simply said, hey, .html, but really it's actually an ERB file. So it's just telling someone else, hey, you should be aware that this is going to accept HTML and that I can embed Ruby in there. Are there any questions on what this is now? Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. So what we're going to do before we do anything else, let's take a, great. If you remember how we can do this is we can do simply add table, which makes sense, each do, right, with the table object, the tablale, tab. And then I'm going to go tab dot nickname, right? I think that's what we put in there. But it didn't highlight, which is weird, because it looked like a Ruby, right? What is the what? If you downloaded the Rails snippets in a package, you can press Command Shift and period, and it will cycle through all of them. So you have the equal, you have the no equal, and then you have the comment. Cool? Right, so like if I had something like cool, I can highlight this whole thing with the Rails snippets package. I can just add them in like this. If you do not have the snippets package, you can press equal tab minus tab, and it will give it to you. I don't actually know how to do the, I don't really know how to do the comment one. Tab? Nope, that's not gonna work. I don't know how to do the comment one. But you could just do minus tab and then put the comment in if you want to. Cool. It's one extra step. Are there any questions on Rails snippets? Hey, what is table again? All right, it's all the humans because I can just do whatever I want. You do whatever you want, all right? That's the power of Rails. Why didn't that work? All right, my server. Embarrassing. Cool. And how do I get to that route and that resource? Cool. You have to deal with that pluralization the whole time. And it's painful. But, you know, as long as you understand it, right? Good to go. There it is. Great. So there are all our tables. I don't like that. But I don't want you to fall into this pattern that it has to be a certain way. It could be anything you want. We name it this way because it makes sense. Like humans dot each do, right? Oh no, I have to do this manually. Oh, embarrassing. Boom, 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 boom. That was my mistake. I should have done that. Cool. Are there any questions as to why we name things the way we do in the instance variable? All right, pretty clear. Great. Let's hit this show real quick. What do we got? At human equals to what? Where is this coming from? Human.find. Active record, right? Cool. And then I'm going to find based on the params. Where are the params coming from? The params are coming from the URL. If you understand the RESTful route, it's /human/ID. So this is the interaction with the model, and then this will be the response. Cool? And then I'm just going to render show. I'm going to tell you that it's great to explicitly write the word render because you can render more than HTML, and that will be very useful for you when it comes to JavaScript, even though the convention is to leave it out because Rails will automatically do it. But please, I'm asking you to explicitly write it. Cool? Cool. Let's do some new. Actually, we have to build the show, right? Let's do that. Show. H2. Let's mix it up. Show me the. Oops, that lost its spice. Humans. Or just one. Cool? Add human. Dot. Nickname. Oh, that's not gonna work. You guys forget it? That's okay. We can take a look at the schema. We can go right here. We can just copy all this. We can go right back to the show. And then we can go bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we can see nickname and go blop, blop, blop. And just see age here. And then we can see last seen. And then we can see missing. Cool? And then we can, if we wanted to, right, what is this going to be? This is going to be some label tag, right? And that'll be name. Cool? If you want to throw a little p tag in here, copy this, cut it, right? Throw a little Ruby interpolation. So you like that? You like those shortcuts? Is that doing it for you? Cool, let's go this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we just hit one of these magics. Bloop, 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 bloop. Boom. Boom. How do we do this over here? This is weird. Sorry, this is not name. It's age, right? And this will be last seen. And then this will be, are you missing? Bloop, bloop, bloop. Followed by thinking emoji. Oh, actually, shh. Don't want to tell people. But also the thinking emoji, right? We're not really sure if you're missing. Except it'll tell us. Cool. The idea here is that I want to be able to see a label, right, that simply says The alien that done got me. Cool? Bless. Mega bless. How do we do that? We can do @human, right? And we can check to see what is the alien? Alien or aliens? Alien. And then what is it? Meep morp. Cool? Didn't really highlight because you look like a ruby. Very good. So let's take a look. Let's actually go to human/3. Let's take a look at Charlie. And there it is. Oh, whoop, I should probably get rid of this code. It's embarrassing. Look at that. Charlie, 26. Mom's attic. Definitely safe. And it was the Denny's one. The Denny's alien that done got him. Cool? Questions on that? If I wanted to see the alien and actually click this thing right here and take me to the show page for the alien, right? What I can do is I can add a link to. We didn't really get to this, so I'm going to explain it now. Oh, just kidding. Bloop. We have a link to. And anyone mess with this yet? So what does link to take as the first argument, as many Rails helpers do? Takes a string, sure. And what is this? It is the text that displays on the page, right? So text that displays. Cool. I refresh, and you'll see the text that displays. Where does this take you? Wrong. It takes you to humans 3. It takes you to this current page. So also nowhere. Yes, you're all correct, right? The idea is that if you don't pass it a route, it'll just bring you to that exact page. So nowhere is an acceptable answer. What is the second argument? What do you think link to needs? Like where to link to, right? That makes sense to me. What's on the page and then what ultimately you should link to. So I can go to a route. That's called all your base are belong to us, right? I could do that if I wanted to. And then if you look really closely, right here on the bottom, right here on the bottom, right? Take it out. It says, actually, let's do this. The dev tools, except I'm going to bring it here so that you can literally see what, oh, dang it. It's going to pop up over here now. Embarrassing. Let's see. Does it, oh, yeah. You like that? You like that? And it goes to / all your base are belong to us, right? It just goes to whatever route you want it to go to. Luckily for us, we have helpers. So we don't need to hard code the route. We can simply go to the alien show page. How do I do that? What's the resources path? Alien path? Is that it? All right? But which alien am I going to, right? This is just the show route for alien. I have to tell it which one I need to go to. Who thinks it should be the human that goes into the alien path? Good, nobody, right? It should be the alien that goes into the alien path. And how do I do that? Do I have access to the alien object currently on this page? This is the alien object, right? So, oops, a daisy. Undefined method alien path. Why did that happen? Because I blasted the route like a dirtbag. So let's do this. Let's do show. Bloop. And if I click this, it will take me to aliens 2, but there's no show action. Ruh-roh, what happened here? It's probably because the alien's controller literally doesn't have an action called show. My God, Rails' error messages are so good. Rails, Rails, Rails. All right, fine. When you get to JavaScript and it gives you terrible errors, you'll come crawling back. They all do. They all do. Are there any questions on how I was able to route to that specific resource and the logic behind it? All right, some of you will put humans inside that alien path, and then you'll wonder why. And then we'll just come by and be like, hey, what should go in there? And then you'll be like, oh my God, whoops, I made a mistake. It'll be fine. Just pointing out the common gotchas and explaining them now. So let's do the new. Is there anything I need from the, oops, that was the wrong one. Is there anything I need from the model or nothing? What do I need from the model for this new human object? I don't think that humans are objects. I think they're people, but this is for the lecture, yeah? Human.new. Great. Awesome. So let's go right into that response. No one's going to correct me on that? Or? Oh, okay. So it needs to be something like human equals to human.new, right? The reason I do this is because I need you to flesh out the idea fully. That's all, right? Sometimes what happens is like we're in this like code mode and we're thinking through and we're like, great, I know I need this, and you move through and then you go back and you don't test your code and then there's like an error. It's like from a little bit ago. So if you get into the habit of fully saying out everything, it will help you write code. So we're just gonna render new here. New. Cool. So what do we need in here? Let's make a h1 tag and make this big and bold and say new human for abduction. Sorry, I forgot how to spell it for 2 seconds. It's hard to lecture and code. I still spelled it wrong? Abduction. Oh, wow. It is very hard to type and code and talk. Prince. Boo-boo, right? So what do we need here? Just a form. Is form cool? Who thinks form is cool? Trash, right? It's not secure. You know that. There's a way to secure it. And you can Google that. You can literally add a CSRF token inside your input. You want to see what that looks like? You want to see what that looks like? Cool. Great. Too late. Cool. Let's go to new. How do I go to new? That's right. /new. Amazing. Bloop. Bloop. Cool. Oh, I didn't like that. Interesting. Usually that works. All right. There's something else to it, but it will generate a CSRF token for you. The CSRF token being the authenticity token in the input, right? There's one more step I actually forgot, but you can always look it up. So what form do we want to use? Who wants to use the form tag? Who wants to use the form for? Add a team. Cool. And what is this form for? At human, right? Okay, we're gonna get rid of this. Cool. And then how many fields do I need? Several. Boop, 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 boop. Is there a method called field on human? Name? If you download Rails snippets, right? If you download the Rails snippets and you put form_for and you press tab, it'll build it for you. If it does not, and you have the Rails snippets installed, restart your Atom. It takes a little bit to like pull in all the data from the package. Yeah, that's really about it. If it still doesn't work, call me over. I want to take a look at it because that is bizarre. Cool. And then lastly, we need a nice old f.submit because you don't want to have that trash user experience, right? So what else do we have for a human? Age, smart, and then we have last seen, and then we have, I'll change the text field, yeah. And then we have finally there it is. Cool. So Let's think about these things, right? As I try to level you all up. So age, is that a text? Let me try number field. Last seen, string, right? Missing is a Boolean. I just like saying it that way. What would make sense here to see if something is there or not there? True, false, true, not true. What do you know? Right. I think it's literally check box field, but we'll find out. Boop. Okay, didn't like that. I think it's just check box. Wow, you know why? Because it said, did you mean? You will miss Rails. Your JavaScript errors, I swear, are just gonna be like, boom, the message port closed. What does that mean? Who knows? Cool. All right, do you like those errors? It would be like console error. It'd just be like error. This is what happens to your JavaScript. And you'll be like, huh? Thanks. Then you'll come crawling back to Rails. Cool. Let's add some f.labels and nickname. All right, this is bad. Trap myself. It is better Rails convention to stick with the Rails helper. However, if you add a label tag directly in here, I'd be like, money, go for it. But the convention is Rails should stay with Rails. So it's not the end of the world. Cool. I mean, it looks better as it reads like this, rather than like out of nowhere I just have this like straight label tag and just like missing in action, we miss you, broken heart, right? Like when you look at this, it just doesn't look as sexy, right? That's really the bottom line. We know what the label will generate for us as a helper, and there's nothing fancy about the generator versus just the straight HTML. Except the label tag specifically, don't worry about, right? Other Rails helpers will generate certain things that become like HTML safe, hacker stuff, cybersecurity stuff. But I think the label is like interchangeable. It's not big. You can't really hack the label. There are, yeah. Just stick to the Rails helpers. There's ways to do it. I don't want to get into that. Cool? Is that a question or? Oh, you want to add a class to the label? Oh, okay, great. What a great question. What a great question. Add a class to the custom form 4. Let's see how to do it. You have this. How do I add a class to it? Bloop, 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 bloop. You can do this in one line. And then boom, right? Cool. So you have a label here. It's for the name, comma, and then you can add some stuff to it. Or it looks like f.label. You can literally give an argument of class pointing to some class. Cool. So the idea here is if you know what you're trying to do and you have a good question in your mind, just call up my boy, right? Oh, Google. Just like, yo, do you know this? Probably does. But yeah, I mean, I literally Google everything all the time. Sometimes when you ask me questions, I'm like, wow, that's great. So here's the answer, right? Now, it's all about just trying to absorb understanding here in school, and then being a good developer is like, how do I formulate the question I want to ask Google, right? It's kind of weird. Like certain questions that you want to ask us are things that are really hard to Google, that are abstract. Like, so for example, like, how do I structure my Rails code? Should I put all the form 4s like in a certain way? That's not a question that you can really kind of Google. But if it's something like, can I add a class to a form? That's a perfect question for Google. It just takes a little bit of time to see like which one you should do. But just try everything, and then ultimately that's what we're here for, right? Like those kind of questions to support you. And then we'll navigate the world together. Fair? Awesome. There is one thing we are missing. Bloop. And that is alien ID. Y'all like that? Okay, guess not. So we'll just leave this as text field for now. And let's get back to work. Bloop. Wow, powerful. So we have all these, right? The same exact problem we ran into in Sinatra is the same problem we're going to run into here. And that we don't want the user to guess which alien abducted them. Well, that sounds bad in English. But the idea is that we don't want the user to like guess what the ID is of the association, right? Like they shouldn't put in a nickname in here, blah, 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 and the age, and then last seen, definitely missing, and then alien like 4. It doesn't make any sense. Like the foreign key, the user's not going to know anything about. So far, so good. It's the same question that popped up in Sinatra, literally last week. Yes? Allie, Charlie, yes? Yeah, great. So what we want to do is the same thing we did before for Sinatra, and that is create a better user experience. Here, the idea is that the user should just be able to click some sort of drop down. We did that last time. We literally did this. HTML drop down. And if I'm so lucky, this is highlighted. Do you remember this? With Volvo and Audi. It's all coming back now? It's all coming back to me now. Cool. So the idea here is that this looks like HTML, right? We just had a conversation about labels being inside your form 4, and it just looking a little wacky. Let's think through this. Do you think that Rails might have some sort of helper that can do some sort of drop down or select, right? It literally says select tag. Wonder what I should look up. Rails, select, helper, or I don't know, let's just put select helper, let's just put select. Wow, there it is. Form options helper. This looks like a good one. Let's take a look. Cool, cool. It's weird that it seems to take a lot of parameters in here. Let's see what it highlights for us. Post. Post. Person ID. Person ID. In the dropdown, we talked about this. This is important to note. What does the name do for us as it relates to params? Miming, right? It's the key. So we can see that it does post with this second argument as the nested value inside the post hash, inside params. We can also see person.all, okay? And then it does something like name and ID, okay? Cool. I could probably assume person.all is everything I want to iterate through. Right? In the same way that we did the same thing in Sinatra. We have to iterate through something. And in our case, we want to iterate through all the aliens. So in my mind, I'm thinking aliens.all. In your mind, what do you think it is? Aliens.all, yeah. Sweet. Cool. And then there's something like include blank true. Okay. Probably includes this blank value, right? So I have an idea of how this select works. Cool. Just like literally reading through the docs, seeing what's going on. Where do you think this 1, 2, 3 value is coming from? Probably like the ID. Let's take a look. I don't like the way these docs are set up, so we'll see if we can find other docs. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. I don't want to do that one. Cool. Wasn't there a better one somewhere? Oh, yes, this one. Ah, yes. Collection select. We'll find that. So there's a select we can make work. All right, let's see if this comes up. Dang it. Well, it'll come up eventually. But the bottom line is if you look up something like this, you'll look through and you'll see something like options for select. So there are other things you can do. As you continue looking, it says how to use collection select. You see what I'm getting at here? There are like different ways to do it. The way I want to show you is it looks just like select, but not this one. Come on. Collection select. Cool. Collection select. Cool, cool, cool. This is the one I want to show you. It also builds your select. And I want to kind of go through how this works. Did everyone kind of see how select worked? Roughly? All right, let me explain collection select, and then you can backwards apply it to select. So we're just going to copy this code like any good developer, knowing that this is what it's going to build for us. Cool? So far, so good? Okay, cool. I see you're getting tired. So what we can do is we can take a super break. Does anyone want to take a super break? That just means that more than one person will respond to anytime I ask you a question. Just means you take like a 5-minute break. You guys want to take a 5-minute break? Now that we've discovered collection select? Yeah! All right, cool. Let's take a 5-minute break. All right, so we talked about the fact that we just stumbled upon collection select because of the way we Googled. We saw that there was something called select, saw that there was something called like options, and now we've determined that collection select looks like what it is that we want to build. All right? So let's do that. Let's wrap this whole thing inside, oh no. Let's wrap this whole thing inside a ERB, which stands for Embedded Ruby. And then all I'm going to do is try to run it, right? And what do you think will happen? That's right, an error. Cool? An error. It says uninitialized constant action. What the? Oh, yeah. Templates for author, right? Which makes sense because we don't have something called author.all. So what do we have, though? What is it that we want to iterate through? Aliens, right? So alien.all. Let me just change this real quick. And then it says undefined method name with initial. All right, I've gotten to this rabbit hole where I copied some code and I cannot get it to work immediately. Let's go back to the docs and figure out what is going on and why that text was so small. Cool? So I have the example object structure, and that is a post belongs to an author with an author has many posts. This mirrors the exact relationship that we have. So I have a method called def with initials. This is a built-in method. I'm sorry, this is not a built-in method. This is a method that I've specifically wrote that will probably take in what? The first name and the last name. So I can then assume name with initial is a method. Name with initial is a method. So it looks like it's being called on the author because it can't possibly be called on the post. So author has a method called name with initial. Great. Alien. What methods do we have on alien? Well, let's take a look. Alien.rb. We only have this human method, but we also have any of the adder readers and adder writers. So what is the method we have on alien? Meet warp. Absolutely. Cool. So that makes sense. right? Do we have post and author ID? Well, let's think about this, right? Collection select is going to be for a post, which belongs to the author. This first argument is going to be for the thing that belongs to, right? Which is human. So we have human here, right? And then what is the second argument? Author ID. It probably refers to that foreign key. So I'm assuming then it must be alien ID on the human. Alien ID is being called on the human. Then we go through all the aliens, call something called, I don't know, dot ID. We're just going to figure that out. Some meet morp and then a prompt true. Cool. Let's figure that out. Great. Please select, oh, I should get rid of this text field. Embarrassing. Oop. Please select OK and Denny's. This is exactly what I wanted. Where do you think this please select came from? Yeah, if you're asking someone to do something, you're prompting them. So this prompt true must therefore be this please select. So let's just play with some code and see if we can get rid of it. Bloop. See what happens. Oh, whoops. Whoa, wow. Y'all caught that, huh? And wow, there it was, and it's gone now. So prompt true just means that I'm going to literally prompt you to select one. We can definitely do that. But what I want to do is I'm going to systematically break down every single part of this collection select. And this is very important. I'm going to systematically break down every single part. Okay? And then I will actually create the object and let you go. So let's go to the human controller. I know that I'm going to want to pause it inside the create. Meaning if I submit this, it will hit this create action and pause in the bybug, right? Because of the route. And what route will Form 4 go to? Form 4 will default to the RESTful route. So it will hit a post to /humans, which exists because in my routes, I used resources. So let's take a look. Let's actually literally break it down. Ready? Let's look at the nickname, A1, last seen, no, missing, true, and let's select OK. If I create, I will hit the binding, the bybug, and I can check the params. So what I see here is alien ID pointing to the value of 1, which makes sense because OK is in fact our first alien, and Denny's is our second alien. So let's exit out of here, and let's take a look back at this new and see what it is that it builds for us, right? What I want to do is take a look at the elements. Take a look at this right here. Does everyone see the select that was built with the collection select? So far, so good. I see human at a key of alien ID. So what I see is human at a key of alien ID. So far, it works exactly like select. Right? If I tried something else, right? That was weird. Like cool. Let's see what happens. Great. It'll give me an error that says undefined method cool for a human, because what it's trying to do is call the method cool on human. And I'll explain. What other methods exist on human? We have nickname. What else we have? Age. What else we have? Last missing? No, last seen. Thank you. So I can see here it says human last seen. You could see where it's pulling it in. So far, so good. The method has to exist, and then it will give it that key value pair. I mean, it will, yeah, give it the key value pair, right? And human is coming from the human object. Alien.all must be what it's iterating through. So all of the aliens. And then it's calling .id and putting it inside the value. Let's prove this. Ready? I can put meet morp here as well. And what I should see instead of 1 and 2, instead of IDs of each of these aliens, I should be getting their names. And that is OK and Denny's. So this is what iterates through and the value that comes across. Are there any questions? What iterates, what gets iterated through, and then the value that comes across in this category. So far, so good. So what is meet morp? Meet morp is going to be what gets interpolated here, which is actually what displays. So let's prove that. If I put ID here, what do I think will come here and here? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So collection select. Collection select, this is how it runs. The object you want to build that collection select for. This method is what gets nested. What is actually going to come across as the main key value for the name, for the params. And what do we want this to be? How will we create the object with the alien ID? This is what we iterate through. This is the value that gets interpreted, and then this is going to be the display. So let's put that into writing. Cool. First thing is going to be, first argument is the object for collection select. Cool. The next thing will be, the second argument is going to be the key that comes across on params. The third argument is what do we iterate over. The fourth argument is going to be the value that comes across on params. And then finally, the fifth thing is going to be what method do we call to display on the page. Are there any questions as to 1, 2, 3, and 4? What collection select does and how it builds your dropdown? If there are no questions, are you comfortable with us saying you're not allowed to ask us about collection select? Okay, well you can ask us about collection select. The idea here is that I just wanted to literally break down every single piece of collection select. So there's something interesting. We have this F block, right? F block. And this F means that this form is for this particular object. So if I add f.collectionSelect, it will assume the first argument. F.collectionSelect assumes the first argument is going to be what the form is for. So it will assume it's for a human. And that should work. Cool. So let's take a look, right? Let's make a new nickname for a human, and that will be Jeff Huang. How old is Jeff? Any real or fake, doesn't matter. 30, cool. When were you last seen? In March? Okay, that's interesting. Are you missing? Definitely. Cool. Do we have 2 aliens? OK and Denny's. Don't bother digging into that. Which one abducted you? Great. So if I press OK, I'll get stuck in the by bug, and my params, I will see the alien ID points to 1, which makes sense because when I selected OK, I had a value of 1 inside my humans hash, inside the alien ID, right, inside the human hash, there is another key value pair for alien ID. Cool? So now, actually, I can probably do something like human.create with the, what? params at a key of human. Will this work? It's forbidden. What does that really mean? Well, it means that we haven't whitelisted any of the attributes. So I can require the key of human, right? And remember what require does? It just accesses the hash, but require does not allow you to assign. So I can then permit certain attributes. And what attributes do I want to permit? Nickname, cool. I also want to permit, I'm going to skip age, and we'll take a look and see what happens. All right? Last seen, boom. Missing, boom. Weird. Missing points to 1, but we said it was a Boolean. Does everyone understand how that works? Right. I mean, a Boolean is just like 1 or 0, right? True or false. Cool. So when I create this human, oops. I forgot this. Boom. Cool. Did I permit age in here? No. Look at what age winds up being. Cool? Because I did not permit it. This permitting, what is the paradigm that we learned about yesterday? What do we call this? We call strong params, right? It makes sense. I mean, Jeff's a strong guy, right? Jeff Wong, right? Cool. They're called strong params. Are there any questions of how to create an associated object in Rails? Specifically, how to do either a select or a collection select, and what the difference is between collection select and f.collection select. Cool, pop quiz. F.collection select. What is the difference between collection select and f.collection select? Thank you. It is the assumption with this f block that the first argument is going to be the object. If there are no other questions, yeah?
Before I was asking, do you know what is, instead of please select, what if I'm on like choose an alien? For the prompt, is it kind of easy to just change the name of the prompt?
I think you can pass it in the string that you want to. Yeah. Any other questions?
So if you change the alien ID to like last seen with if they're on there because you're giving it two values or two keys, I should say.
If I change this to last seen, what it will do is it will simply change this to last seen, and then when you get it on params, it'll overwrite last seen. It'll read last seen twice, and it'll pull the second one. That's a very good question. Great. So why don't you take a 2-minute break? That's all I have for you today, and then you'll walk right into blogs.